everybody. Welcome to the Court of Public Opinion. I'm Jeremy Cordo. Pete's here. And importantly, you are. Somebody got in touch with me and left a comment that when I have my papers and I wave them around, it annoys the microphone. So forgive me, I'll watch that. Anything you spot that I can fix, let me know. Will you improve? Absolutely. Before we get into the news of the day, or the stuff of the day, I hope it's stuff that gets to you the way it gets to me. Things that just don't seem to either make it into the media, or the media just doesn't want to, or isn't allowed to talk about. I don't know what's going on, but I have the funny sense something is. Anyway, some of the things for which we remember the day. Gold ownership was legalised in Australia. Never knew it was illegal. That was 1976. Gold ownership legalised in Australia. There are people who believe, of course, that it's the only thing. Probably this is the success of this crypto stuff as well. Because all of the digital currency in the world, it's not like having the physical thing, is it? The physical thing. 1896, the first auto, Carl Benz, arrives in the Netherlands. 1896, Carl Benz arrives in the Netherlands. 2022, Mercedes confirms the sale of the world's most expensive car on the same day. Different year, of course. A 1955 Mercedes-Benz SLR Coupe. And it sells for $142 million. I wonder what old Carl would have thought of that. Jacqueline Kennedy Onassis, American First Lady from 61 to 63, dies of cancer at the age of 64. That was in 1994. Nellie Melba, Dame Nellie Melba, Australian operatic soprano, and face on the Australian $100 note, by the way. Born Richmond, Victoria. Died in 1931, born 1861. BBC investigation finds that the 1995 interview with Princess Diana was secured through deceitful behaviour by the journalist Martin Bashir. Yes, but what a scoop. I mean, the ramifications of that interview. If you started to compile a list of the interviews that had ricocheted around the world, that would have to be way up there, wouldn't it? Yes. 2021. Jack Brabham, Australian auto racer and team owner, World Formula One champion, 59, 60 and 66. The only man to win an F1 championship driving one of his own cars. He dies of liver cancer at the age of 88. 2014 was the year. Marilyn Monroe, oh, this one, yes, famously sings "Happy Birthday, Mr. President" to JFK before 15,000 attendees, accompanied by jazz pianist Hank Jones at Madison Square Garden, New York, on this day in 62. You just knew from that there was something going on there. Yeah, I guess Jackie did notice as well. Tony Randall, American actor, The Odd Couple, dies at 84. That was 2004. British guitarist Eric Clapton marries model and George Harrison's ex-wife, Pattie Boyd. She was 35, he was 34. They divorced in 89, but they got married on this day in 79. The Ringling Brothers Circus premieres in 1884. 2018, on this day, American actress Meghan Markle marries Prince Harry at a ceremony in Windsor Castle, making her a member of the British royal family. Queen Elizabeth II grants her the title of Duchess. he the Duke, she the Duchess of Sussex, upon their marriage. T.E. Lawrence, British author, soldier, diplomat. Lawrence of Arabia, in fact. He dies at the age of 46 in a motorcycle accident. Never get on one of those things. Never, never, never. Well, I was at Scammell's the other day and they had the most amazing collection of motorcycles for auction, which, there must have been 1,000 or perhaps more than 1,000. Somebody's collection. It went from the antique to the modern and exotic. Motorbikes I don't quite understand. Anyway, if you remember the day for any reason at all, I hope you have a great celebration. Great English actor Ronald Colman, prisoner of Zenda, and he was also in Xanadu, I think the original Xanadu, which was, the Lost Horizon movie, the original one. Anyway, 1958. He dies at the age of 67. Great actor. William F. Cody, otherwise known as Buffalo Bill. He opens the Buffalo Bill Wild West show in Omaha, Nebraska on this day in 1883. A couple of quite unsavory ones. 1925, Pol Pot. Pol Pot, Cambodian leader, mass murderer, revolutionary. He was born, and Ho Chi Minh, the Vietnamese communist revolutionary, president of North Vietnam, he was born too in 1890 on the same day. Memories, memories, memories. Anyway, I hope you're well, and I welcome your comments, and thank you for making so many of them. You know that old saying about time is money? Well, time is money. Time is money. I don't know where that came from, but I would suspect that most of the old sayings are well worth remembering. Here's something that's not even on this planet. I have discovered that we can travel to England or the United States in just 2 hours. 2 hours, believe it or not. But we have to do it via space. I told you it was off the planet. It will cost, Pete, listen to this, $600,000 a seat.
Oh, God.
$600,000 a seat. Do they really expect to get many takers for that kind of money? Time is money? But that's ridiculous. Just patiently sit in the plane. Enjoy it, soak it up. I don't do it often enough for it to be anything other than a novelty. But you know what they say, patience is a virtue, possess it if you can, seldom in a woman and never in a man. Don't know who did that one either. A group of Labour Party politicians are agitating within the party to make changes to negative gearing. Well, of course they would. That's been simmering along a long time. Now, when they talk about making changes, as they do, to superannuation all the time, they introduce uncertainty, which, of course, kills the reason for it being there in the first place. Certainty is good. People know this and respect it. Anthony Albanese would probably be a personal fan of negative gearing. Now, that's only a guess. If he was against negative gearing, I would think he would have to be rather hypocritical. As he's fond of saying, he comes from Struggle Street, public housing. A mother who struggled to bring him up by herself. And she clearly did a very good job. She must be very proud of him, or she would be. Now, he has achieved the top job. Terrific. He's managed, however, to amass a considerable property portfolio worth many millions of dollars, which does not get talked about. He owns his own home in Sydney. That's valued at about $2.5 million. That's in Marrickville. He's got an apartment in Canberra, Plus, of course, the houses that he can call his own. Admiralty House in Sydney, whenever he wants to use it. And, of course, the lodge where he would live in Canberra. I'm assuming he rents out the apartment. I don't know. Now, I would suggest that he would know himself the benefits of negative gearing and how that particular tax law can advantage and encourage the individual, which is what all governments should have in the back of their mind when they make any decision. First of all, do no harm as a first one, and then perhaps, how is this decision going to help the average person? Or how will it hurt the average person? Sir, with respect, leave negative gearing alone. Again, I say to you, and it's come up before when it's been a topic, I have nothing negatively geared. I have no axe to grind in saying all of this. But I can certainly see how people have benefited because of it. Now, I talked to you about this thing called PFS, PFAS, contamination. Probably, I think, 2 or 3 years ago here in the Court of Public Opinion, but I've been on about it for years, previously on 5AA. It seems that there's been limited compensation paid by the Defence Department. Now, it might seem like a lot of money, $125 million, but that is to be spread between 30,000 people. 30,000 people who have been affected by this stuff. That's not a lot of compensation. For the considerable loss of property value, I don't know, it would depend on a lot of variables. It could vary from person to person, I would imagine. I want to know how it happened in the first place. How could people not know that this thing was toxic and would get into the groundwater? And how did they not know that it was cumulative and residual and could cause all manner of illnesses? Was this known about overseas? Did anyone think to ask or look? The Commonwealth has coughed up some money, yes, but I believe that it hasn't accepted any responsibility in any way. Now, I guess one way of looking at it is you take the money and shut up. It amounts to about $4,000 for every household, if you spread it out evenly. But if some houses, some claims are going to be getting a bit more, others will get none. But I suppose you could say, at least it's something. It's something. It was one of those class actions, you know. I'd love to know how much money the lawyers got before the people saw 1 penny of it. That side of the result is never ever published. I don't know why. Another thing I wanted to mention to you is this Aboriginal art gallery. You can hear the helicopter. Can you hear that, Pete?
Oh, yes.
I've got the door of the garage open, you see. It must be flying low. It can't be a bushfire thing. It must be something else. Anyway, I wanted to talk to you about the Aboriginal Art Gallery and Cultural Centre, proposed on North Terrace. We've discussed it before here in the Court of Public Opinion. The cost has now blown out to $600 million. This is beyond belief. The original $200 million was steep enough. The Premier, he says he wants a building, a centre that will pull a crowd on the basis that people will come to Adelaide specifically to see it, to visit it. Now, this man is not stupid. What the hell is he on about? They didn't come for Tandanya, which was a very big investment, some might say huge investment using taxpayers' dollars for a so-called Aboriginal Interpretive Centre. I don't think even the Aboriginals went there. It's closed now, vandalised. Governments should stop with the political correctness. And to my absolute amazement, the Liberal Party is worried, talking publicly about this. They're worried that the government might shelve the idea, shelve the project, which of course is exactly what they should do. What are the Libs doing? It's certainly not an opposition. Probably they're just trying to wedge the government, maybe. But I'm sorry, Liberal or Labor, we can't afford to spend $600 million on an Aboriginal arts and cultural centre. I just don't see the value to anybody. However, we are going to end up with a scam centre, I believe. Whatever that might look like, I don't know. An anti-scam centre. I think cybercrime is well and truly out of control. It's worth about something like $3 billion. Not to us, I mean it costs us $3 billion a year in Australia. I don't know anyone who would be able to do anything about it. In thinking, you know, perhaps what we could do is treat every phone call, every email, every SMS as a scam unless proven otherwise. And that, of course, is no way to live. But it is the world in which we find ourselves. Nuclear power comes up regularly, and so it should. Nuclear power and why we should have it here in Australia is a very big, important question. But instead, we're pretending this amazing scientific innovation doesn't exist. It's poison. Never happened. Ignorant, primitive thinking. I suppose it began with the ban the bomb left-wing brigade back in the 50s and 60s and the marches. You remember the symbol for the ban the bomb thing? But had we not had the bomb when the Americans dropped 2 of them on Japan, I don't know where the world would be today. But why would they believe, or why would they be allowed to believe and therefore ruin our lives, our future, for nothing more than ignorance? Why not have a mature debate? You know, take out the politics, put in the science. Here's an idea. Put it to the people. Okay? Now we're spending $100 million on this referendum later in the year. We can put in a second question at this upcoming referendum. Would cost us nothing to do that. And if the flat earthers win with a negative to that question, let them live with sky-high electricity charges for the rest of their lives. But at least middle Australia, common sense Australia, has had a go. I don't know how we'd phrase the question, but would you agree to the installation of the safe production of electricity using nuclear power? Something like that. Sitting on the largest uranium deposits in the world would be nuts not to consider it, frankly. Thank you very much for viewing the Court of Public Opinion, ladies and gentlemen. We'll be back tomorrow. Believe in yourself, and goodbye for now.